Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Talk with Sorintan Haure. Today I bring to you a very interesting and an important episode for us all. I'm sure you're all doing great, and it's a fact that we're all occupied by the upcoming Lok Sabha election. I'm sure we're all taking part indirectly or directly, one way or the other way. And I believe that we are on the verge of deciding whom to vote, whom not to vote. Today, we're going to discuss more in depth about this upcoming election. Today, I'm joined by four special guests from different districts of Manipur. I would like to get more information from them. Would like to get their opinion and get to understand about the upcoming election in depth. And then after the end of the discussion, I'm sure it will help you in deciding whom to vote, whom not to vote, and then what to do in this election. So I would like to introduce you our guests, and then let us proceed with the discussion. First of all, I'd like to introduce you Ms. P.F. Manini. She is a PhD research scholar of Manipur University. She's based in Senapati at the moment. And next, I'd like to introduce you Dr. Elijah Kara. He's from Chandel, and then he was an assistant professor of sociology at Highland National College, Kanglatombi, and also assistant professor of sociology at Mount Zion College, Katiko Karong. And next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ringbom Kame. He is the editor at the Ganfyu Mail based in Tamenglong. And I'd like to introduce you Mr. Layolan Vashum. He is the founder of Hilwal and also the former general secretary of Tangkul Ketamnau Saglong. I'd like to thank you all for giving us your precious time and joining me on this special episode to discuss on the upcoming general election of India. This episode it will be based, our main objective is to get to know what's happening in your own districts. Manini is from Senapati, Elijah is from Chandel, Ringbam is from Tamenglong, and Layolan is from Ukhrul. So we'll be able to get to know the ins and outs, the reality that we're facing at the moment from each district. So thank you all so much. To get it started, I'd like to start it with Ms. Manini, ladies first, right? So, to get to know more about the political scenario of Senapati. And more interestingly, we have a candidate. We have a candidate from Senapati, which is Mr. Kojon. So I'm sure it's very interesting at the moment in Senapati. We'd like to get an update of the current political scenario of your district. Please take your time. You're on mute, Manini. You're on mute. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So I hope I'm audible now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the time. And I'm from Senapati district. You know, the election is near and everybody is, in commotion. But right now in my district, Senapati district, there are, if you look at the historical settlement, we have the Mao, Maram, Pomwi, Zelan, and some few of Tangkuls and the Nepalese and all. But 99% point something belongs to Nagas. Right. So for sure that when you look at that settlement pattern, all of these people, since they are from Naga community, they have a political interest, same political interest, and they have the same issue that faced by them because they belong to the Nagas. So for sure that these people, they vote for some party or candidate who stood for the Naga solution. And then when you look over it, MPF has done so far in the past because they feel that MPF has a mandate of the people and the voices of the people belongs to the MPF. I don't know how far it's true because MPF may have, that kind of thing is there. When you have the ethnic, or communal ticket, people ultimately begin to feel that this people is going to represent. But when you look at the candidate, we don't question about, is it this candidate is capable enough to do it? So here in Senapati, we have a neutral statement, but when you look at our Pomui brothers, since Kojon is from Pomu community, they will go for sure for solid for him, okay. So, but for the other communities, they're questioning that who will be the next candidature, and then is it they're going to give an NPF, but all of these communities somewhat feel at a certain point of time that they are neutral in some point of time. That's what we see in the political scenario.
Okay. Manini, when you mentioned about the Pomai community giving their votes to Mr. Kojon, you said solid. So do you think that is a possibility, a solid vote of all the Pomais to Kojon, or do you still think their votes can still be divided?
Maybe when theoretically when you speak of it, 90%, 90s, plus people can vote for Kojon. That is what theoretically. But practically, when it comes to money and power, people can even betray their own people.
Right.
But Kojon, when we see the history context, he worked so much for the Nagas people from 1990s till 2024. So when we look at his historical, working system and all, maybe for sure that our Pomui brothers, someone who is really working for the Nagas, I'm sure that our Pomui brothers will begin to give the vote. But I cannot able to predict the solid one because people can betray their own.
Yes, yes. You mentioned something about NPF, which had the mandate of the people. Is that the same case at the moment of most of the people, or is the opinion divided?
The opinion is divided. You see that we have the NPF for the last years, for the last past years that we have given the leadership to it, but they have failed miserably. So they have failed miserably. So in the present context and after the conflict, after the May 3rd conflict, people has a dividing opinion. They fail to trust the NPF. They, mistrust them. They don't have the mandate anymore with the Nagas people because they failed miserably in the past years. Therefore, I am, of the
Is that your
stronger
opinion?
that
When you said NPF has failed miserably, is that your opinion, or is that the common opinion of the people of Senapati?
So when I talk with the leaders, it's the common opinion of the people that NPF has failed us, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll come back to you later. I'd like to go to Dr. Elijah. We have heard a bit of the opinion or the reality, what's happening in Senapati. Would like to get to know what's happening in Chandel. What the common opinion of the Chandel people have at the moment regarding the MP election, most importantly about the current scenario, about the candidates.
Thank you so much. The current situation in Chandel is a bit, we can describe it as a bit shaky and a bit ambiguous also. Because if we look at the society, Chandel people by itself, we are not that politically, we can say, aware. Okay. And we are not that much interested in the politics. But however, we have to participate. And again, since obviously there is no candidate from our side, so we have to, we become like the vote bank. So right now, what the people of the Chandel feel is that, of course, we have to vote in the interest of the Nagas. But at the same time, we don't want to be reduced to a state of being a vote bank of any candidate, be it the NPF or the Congress. But we all know that being a Naga and to work for the greater and the common good of the Nagas, we will give the NPF. But then what? And the thing is that also, though our leaders may say that we have to give all the votes to the NPF, but at the end of the day, again, we are a bit cautious because we don't know the future. We don't know the result of the election. It can change, and and also at the same time, it's like we don't want to be treated as a vote bank also, and at the same time, we don't want to be a scapegoat if in the possible future that the result may not be as what we expected. So that's how I think in Chandel region we are a bit a bit cautious at the moment also, but that's at the top level. But when it comes to the everyday life of the people like you, me, or let's say somebody's uncle or the auntie from a random village, the awareness on the politics is quite less, and I can say that the political talk on the street is very less in Chandel these days. So it's like the people are with the attitude of as the river flows. Means like if we have to vote for this one, we'll vote for this one, and if we don't have to vote for this one, we don't have to vote for this one.
Okay.
That's
All
all I
right.
can say about
I
the Chandel.
felt that there's a lukewarm situation in Chandel, and then you mentioned quietly right about the political awareness thing. So, is there has there been any candidate or any party been campaigning for the upcoming election, or no campaigns at all?
Yeah, regarding elections and all, usually in Chandel, the campaignings and all are always lukewarm, even in the past, in terms of, let's say, the state election in the past or the general the election. Though there may have been some form of so-called unofficial campaigning that may have taken place since last year, especially by the NPF co-candidate. But otherwise, at we can see at the public level, we don't see such of the campaigns. Though we have heard that our leaders and all had to go for the meeting all the way to Dimapur or to Senapati, but that's just up to the leaders again. We the people, we can see we are not that aware. I mean, if we see, just because we see the news only, we are aware, but the majority of the people are not even aware till now that who is going to be the candidate of the NPF or to whom are we going to vote.
Okay, okay. You have been mentioning only about NPF and Congress. Do you have, I mean, any votes, any supporter of the two other candidates who are uh, contending with an independent, as an independent? Any followers,
Yeah,
any
that's
supporters of the two other
yeah. So
candidates?
that's the thing. In Chandel, the political situation is such a way that we even even me also, I'm not that aware of who's going to stand or who's not going to stand and all. But again, we can see again in the interest of the Nagas again. See again, we also have to see the reality of the situation where we have been bombarded with the idea of the NPF that the Congress actually does not even exist in the political landscape of the Chandel, or we can say, and then the other two candidates or the independents don't even exist because, I mean, whatever we heard about this NPF,
All right. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, whether make it right or not. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for giving us the update of Chandel. I'll come back to you later. I'd like to come back to, I mean, ask Mr. Ringbom Kamai. What's the update of Tamenglong? We want to get to know more about the political scenario of Tamenglong. Give us an update of how it's political scenario of the Tamenglong related to the upcoming election.
Uh, Thank you. Regarding Tamenglong, this coming election, it is very early to assess the political scenario because uh, none other than the NPF, there is nothing much campaign or anything meeting has been done. But except NPF have reached out to Tamenglong people, have a consultative meeting in Tamenglong headquarters. Uh, and the candidate himself shared why he wanted to be part of this coming election.
Okay.
And then, due to this UNC declaration, our people in Tamenglong, like especially the CSO leaders and all, are pressing that we will go for a common cause or a common candidate. But as I said earlier, neither the Congress, neither the other two independent candidate have not reached out to the people of the Menglong. I hope they will be doing so in the later part.
Okay. One of the four candidates, Dr. Ellison Abonmai, is he from Tamil or Noni?
He is from Kangpokpi.
Oh, he's from Kangpokpi. Okay. Okay. I thought he's from one
Yeah,
of.
he is from Zelenglong community,
Right,
but he's from Kangpokpi.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying even though he belongs to a Zelengrong community, he has not reached to the Zelengrong community of Tamenglong and Noni? Are you saying that?
He might be reaching to the some few individual in the local level, but not in a public forum that he will be, contesting on behalf of this tribe, on behalf of this community. Maybe he may be waiting for the good opportunity or the right time, to have a meeting with the leaders and all.
Okay, all right. So are you saying at the moment the NPF has the mandate of the people?
Um, as I said, this is very early to get the assessment because he's the NPF is the only candidate who have reached out to the people,
Okay.
and the leader who have this. We have this CSO called the uh, Joint Tribe Council, which is comprised of four tribes: Rome, Jeme, Liangmei, and Impui. All these together, they have this Joint Tribe Council. This CSO seems to have endorsed the UNC declaration, and I think they going to they're going to push NPF in this regard.
Okay, interesting updates. It's good to know from the three districts. Give me just a few seconds. I'd like to give a call to the one who just left. I don't know what issue he's facing. I want him to join this conversation. Okay, we have got the information and updates about the three districts, which is Senapati, Chandel, and Tamenglong, and it's good to know information. Thank you. I'll come back to you guys with set of questions in the next round. Now let us get to know from Ukhrul district. I'd like to ask Mr. Leolan Vashum to give us the update about the political scenario at the moment in Ukhrul. And yes, we feel that the two of the strongest candidates who are Kachui Timothy Zimik and Guira Alfred Kangam Arthur, they're both from Ukhrul district. So it's one of the most interesting districts at the moment, the people of Ukhrul. We'd like to get to know what's happening in Ukhrul.
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, in Ukhrul, as we all know, we already have the elected representatives in the assembly from all three constituencies, represented through the Naga People's Front. Right. We can say that it is the majority in the district at the moment. I think it would combine Kamjong district and Ukhrul district both. Okay. So since we already have three NPF MLAs here in these two districts, I can actually vouch that NPF would be a very strong contender over here in these two districts. But with two of the strongest candidates for the outer Lok Sabha constituency this time, I think the opinion is very divided at the moment. We do not see much presence of other political parties like the NPP or others, but the BJP has a very strong presence. NPF also has quite a strong presence. The INC, no doubt, has a very strong presence since the former MLA from Ukhrul, who is the INC candidate, Mr. Alfred. I think he has quite a strong pull. Okay. So it would not be fair for me to say that one candidate has an edge over the other. But I think these are two very strong contenders. And as for the public, they are also very divided at the moment, with a lot of young crowds and, having their opinions. They are, the youth especially, they are very vocal now. So they want to see a change because we already have, given a lot of chance to the older generation, and we have seen quite, it's a very dismal performance. We have not seen any positive changes. It is just the same thing that is, repeating over and over again. Okay. So I think this time there is a surge in opinion which is swaying towards Mr. Alfred. Okay. But we can never, deny or dismiss Kachui Timothy Zimik because he has the backing of the three NPF MLAs.
Right. When you said there's a sway towards Alfred Arthur, Kangam Arthur, is it just the younger generation or the whole of the Tangkhul community or the people of Kamjong and Ukhrul district?
I think it is to do more with the younger generation because on a very, in my personal opinion, with my perspectives and the, things that I see around me, most of the youngsters, they feel, they feel connected with him. Whatever he does, there may be things that are not, perfect being human, but most of the youth, they are able to connect with him on a lot of levels because he seems to satisfy what the younger generation wants in a elected representative. So I think that is one of the main reasons that is swaying, especially for the younger generation.
Okay, it's an interesting update. And also, I'd like to get to know if there is an anti-incumbency amongst the NPF followers as well. Also, but the on the other side, the incumbent MP is not the candidate this time. It is a totally new candidate. So, do you think he brings something positive against the anti-incumbency wave which is happening in in any kind of elections?
I think, yes, a lot of people are, dissatisfied with the performance of the incumbent parliamentarian. So there could be some negative effects to the current candidate. But I think, most of the supporters that I see that are supporting the Naga People's Front candidate, they are supporting the candidate because he is a new face. And maybe even if he is from the same party, that is, that is also the incumbent parliamentarians, same political party. They do not feel a connect with the past and the current one. So there may be negative effects, but it will not hamper much of the current candidates' standing, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Just one last question on this topic. Do you think the Naga, the tech Naga, has an impact on the candidature of Mr. Kechut Timothy Zimik? Do you think the majority of the Nagas might vote for him?
My personal opinion would be yes, the majority would most likely, and I say most likely because you can never be sure, especially in electoral politics.
Okay.
They will most likely vote for the NPF candidate Kechut Timothy Zimik because there are some issues that NPF wishes to espouse. Thus far, we have not seen, much of the actions, much of their words converted into actions. But there are people who still linger on with the hope that they will do something, especially for the Naga people and the Naga issue. So, yeah, most likely they might vote for the NPF candidate.
Okay. It's interesting. Our conversation is getting more and more interesting after getting to know what's been happening in all of these 4 districts. And yes, just to get this clarified, I club all the. Before our districts are bifurcated, for example, for Chandel, I wanted to club it as Tengnoppal and Chandel as one, for Tamenglong and Noni as one, and Ukrul and Kamjong as one. And for Senapati, yes, Kampokpi included too. So I'd like to come back to Miss Manini. Yes, are you audible? Yeah, thank you. What are the political desires of the people of Senapati? Yes, contextualizing the MP election, not of anything else, but of the MP. What do the people of Senapati want, especially the younger generation, because the future is ours? What do you think the youth and also the general people of Senapati desires politically?
Thank you. That was a big question. The younger generations of Napaticians, since you see that in the conflict, in the May 3rd conflict, there's a huge lesson learned by the younger generations. Okay. So here, you have the ethnic conflict. You have people began to feel that BJP is biased towards one certain other community. Mm-hmm. So people in Senapati began to feel that they need to have a leaders which is not communal-centric, but homo-centric, which I mean to say is for humanity, a man who works for humanity. And also at the same time, since it is a Naga populated area, they would look for a candidate who looks for a Naga political solution. And then at the same time, they look for a person who will voice for them, since we cannot stand in parliament, but that candidate has to be the one to be the representative of them, to voice for them and to represent for them. not only for community. For example, if I am from Mao community, I work for our own community, and then Mao candidate work for their own Mao community, and for sure that Senapati will be divided. But we want a leader. When I talk to the people, they want a leader who will, have a common participation, common development, common ideas, and that's how the communities work together. That's what they believe in it. So here I am centering around the homocentric form of, government they wanted to work on it. Yeah.
Okay, great. You mentioned specifically on the inclusiveness, also, yes, equal development and things. What about the infrastructural development? For example, any kind of infrastructure institutions, what do you think the people of Senapati desires at the moment?
Yeah, you have seen that Senapati, we don't have a good football stadium. So last time people are asking for football stadium.
Okay.
And then at the same time, they also ask IIT infrastructure. So people, the youth people, especially, they ask for a bigger stadium. You see the Senapati, a bigger infrastructural development is very important in Senapati. So the IIT growth and all this were one part of the things that I cannot put everything in details, but this were some kind of thing that people really wanted in the state, in the Senapati district.
All right. Okay. You have mentioned, yes, what you mentioned is specifically with the opinions and thoughts of the younger generation. What of the older generation? Do you think they still participate in elections like Dr. Elijah said later? Just vote and come back, and no political consciousness or awareness at all. What of them? What do you think the older generation or the senior citizens of the Senapati people? I mean, what do you think they feel at the moment? What do you think they desire politically?
I think when we look at the older generation, like as we say that many of us, yes, older generation are the one who are aware of election, but the one younger generation, for some years, we're not aware of election. We just go and vote. But for older generation, they know that they have been, coming from a generation, they experience many things, So they experience many things. So for them, what they feel is that they wanted to breach the gap, the communal gap that we have faced. Many times you have seen that Senapati is a place of diverse community.
Right.
So this older generation, all this. So they wanted to breach this gap because in a recent year, we have been divided so much on the political ground. So the older generation wanted to, that's what I see, yes.
Do you think the candidates, the four candidates which we have at the moment, do you think they have the solution to the political desires of the Senapati people?
Yes, for sure. That's the reason they are contesting an election.
All right.
For sure they have.
They have that potential. All right, good to know. I'll come back to you later. I'd like to ask Dr. Elijah the same question, the political desires of the people of Chandel. What do you think they are? And yes, earlier you have mentioned a very important point, which is the lack of political awareness amongst the people of Chandel. So I'm not sure how, the people of the Chandel district has at the moment in their mind, if they have any kind of political desires, because you have mentioned the lack of political awareness earlier, but we still want to know if in any way, if they have voiced out anything which they desire in the days to come, in the years to come.
Yeah, in terms of the politics, I'll just relate to development and a bit to, let's say, transport and communication. So I think the incident from last year, means the ethnic conflict in Manipur, has opened the eyes of many of the Chandel. And also, it's not just about the ethnic conflict of the last year, but in the past and the successive years. Usually what happens in the Chandel is that if there is any bund in the valley districts, we suffer a lot. Like we have to literally pass through the valley districts to go to any part of the Naga areas. Right. So right now, what the people of the Chandel desire most is to have an alternative route to connect to any of the Naga areas. So right now, like the base route is from the Machis side that will connect to Kasom Kulen and then to Pungyer. So that one, at the moment, what the people feel is that road needs to be good so that in the event of any unforeseen like a political situation in the future, that the people of the people from Chandel will be able to have a, like, how to say, will so that we may be able to have a smooth linkage with the other Nagas,
Right.
and also on the other hand, like also in terms of the politics against it, one of our very inert desire for the people of the Chandel is that we need to be respected. Like I could mention before, we don't want to be treated as a mere vote bank or a scapegoat in the future. So this time we really want the candidates, to assure us that we will not target you or blame you in case
Just
like
before
the
you move on to the next point, I'd like to point this out. Do you feel neglected by our leaders? I mean, as a general Naga leader, how do you feel so? I mean, why do you feel so? Also, you mentioned about the alternate route. Has this been mentioned earlier? I mean, has this been voiced out earlier? Has any actions been taken regarding the same?
The alternate routes and all, I don't know, but I mean, it was planned by the government only, but we, the Nagas or our leaders, have not yet, I think, pondered upon it. So far, I can say that we, the people from Chandel, we always thought that we are neglected a bit when it comes to Naga politics or when it comes to elections and all, because our population is small. So, like the total number of the voters, maybe 60, 70,000. So that is, I think, different case. But also at the same time, see, like, we'll have the NPF meeting or any of the candidate meeting, which are not usually held in Chandel. We have to go all the way to other parts of to other districts, say mainly to Senapati and all. So what we also desire is that sometimes we should have the meeting in Chandel. I mean, why do our civil leaders always have to go there? In the middle of the night, just a phone call, and then they expect us to just go.
Yeah, you have mentioned one, which is conducting meetings in Chandel one way. What are the other measures which you think can be done to the people of Chandel or can be done in Chandel, which will make you not feel neglected? What are the other measures?
Some of the other measures is like we need good infrastructure at the moment, because Chandel is one of the most backward districts, and I think even in the past also the MPs have neglected us and our issues. We have the issue of the Indo-Naga boundary, where Chandel shares a boundary with the Myanmar, and those issues and all, I think in the past the Naga MLAs don't even raise. And also when Chandel district was bifurcated into Tecnopal and Chandel also, what was that time our Naga MLA doing it? So I mean, this time we really want the Naga. I mean, since we the people from Chandel will be voting for the common interest of the Nagas also, so we also expect something to come back in the common interest of the Nagas, that we should not be forgotten when there is any development schemes or the programs or the infrastructures. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much. You have pointed out something very important which we were not aware of, but then this is something which should be done immediately. And I'd like to point this out, taking advantage of what we're discussing right now. See, some people are planning to live on Mars, on Moon, but we are not even able to have a proper video conference. I mean, a video meeting because of the internet connectivity. Our internet connectivity is at the worst. This is the reality, right? So I think our leaders should work more. This is one of the basics, and this is a necessity which one of the necessities we need daily. But we couldn't even have a proper connection at the moment. All right, I'd like to go to Mr. Rangbai. What of the people of Tamenglong? What do they politically desire? At the moment, yes, there may be lots which the people of Tamenglong desires, they want. For example, Senapati has mentioned something about infrastructure, the stadiums and all. People of Chandel wants an alternative route to connect to the rest of the Nagas. What about the people of Tamenglong? What are the immediate needs? Also, yes, the long-term needs as well. Kindly share.
Okay. Tamenglong has the highest cover of forest at Tamenglong. And we have um, many wildlife sanctuary, any like which the outsider only see us the forest part, not the people who are living there. So the desire of the people of the Menglong is to protect our land. Now our boundary with Jiribam, and also from the Tamai side is with the Kangpopi. We have a boundary issue with our Kuki brothers, and in Jiribam side we have a boundary issue with the our Metai brothers. So the ideal or the desire of the people of the Menglong is to sort out this issue that will not lead us to any communal conflict in the near future. Because in when I say, when I mention about this forest, the most of the Jiribam Forest Department areas are covered under Tamenglong district. So has been raised by many CSOs to our elected leaders and all, but it's not materialized so far. So it will be great that any elected member will come out, and the dispute area should be sorted out at the earliest. And apart from that, Tamenglong being the one of the most backward district in Tamenglong, I mean in Manipur, or in a North state, road connectivity, and as you have mentioned, the internet connectivity, and also the electricity problem faced every season, rainy season. Even every now and then the light goes off and it come back 2 3 days back. All these things has been regular incidents for every year. So apart from our Naga common cause, I think the Menglong people, the younger generation, needs better road connectivity, better electricity, and also the internet connectivity. And our land is the only identity that we have, should be protected, so that our younger, I mean, the future generation could also see the remain as it is in the future. So I think that is another part. And we have national highway like Tamenglong Mahur Road. This is 137, National Highway 137. It is about to finish, but as a brother from Chandel has mentioned, that our road connectivity to another like Nagas district is like we have Infal Kamchuk Road, but has been deplorable condition from for many years, and all these things. If the our leaders should take it off, and better connectivity will be ideal.
Do you think? Do you think the current candidates? We have 4 candidates at the moment. Do you think if any one of them gets elected, do you think they have the caliber, they have the potential to address the grievances of the people of Tamenglong?
Um, I feel so definitely. I think they will be able to do it if they have the will to do it.
All right, great. Thank you so much for giving us the updates from Tamenglong. I'd like to come back to Mr. Layolan Vashum. Tangkuls are one of the mostly active, in terms of politics, electoral politics. I feel that some people treat election as a job festival, as like we used to call it in Tangkul as panit, lumshlau. And then when it comes to political consciousness, I feel that we don't have much. So what do you think the people of Ukrul and Kamjong desires politically? Yes, contextualizing the Lok Sabha election.
Well, I think I would primarily agree with my friend from Tamenlong, who has stated that without the land, we would not be able to identify as a people or as a community. So coming back to what you have asked me, the ideal candidate that people would like to see contextualizing the current Lok Sabha elections is someone who can, really be very assertive, someone who can be very positive in their outlook, and someone who is, more of an extrovert or who is outgoing. Then people would want to see someone who is really accountable, because being at the highest level of the legislative body for the country, I think they have a very big role in forming policies that are going to affect the people. So primarily, I think our people, the people in Ukhrul and Kamjong, they would like to see someone who is smart and assertive enough to put forward certain policies, and do the actual act of a parliamentarian, that is to create and introduce legislative bills into the parliament, which is going to bring development. Most people, they would misinterpret elected representatives and their duties to just bringing projects into their constituencies, which is not so. We fail to understand that their primary job is to legislate, to actually form and create policies that are going to benefit the people. Thus far, it is just the usual work of the bringing and creating projects. That's just about it. But to actually form a policy that is going to benefit the posterity, it is something that is a rarity at the moment. And for the Tangkuls, like you say, whenever election comes, it's a festival.
Right.
Everyone wants to be part of it. Everyone wants to be vocal. But then, we have our shortcomings in a way where I would state that, most people get swayed by money. Some people would get swayed by emotions, and some emotions can be good, some can be bad. I feel that the emotions for the Tangkuls is somehow, borderline negative. I would say that because we seem to fail to understand and grasp the gravity of the situation, where we as a people, especially collectively as Nagas, we have to really stress that we are an endangered community, which is at the mercy of the state government and the central government. And we really need people who can assert, and state and point out to the government that we need this and we need that. We have to do this, we have to do that. So I think our people, especially the people from the Tangkul community, we need someone who is outgoing and assertive. That is what I have, that I would like to repeat over and over again. And that person needs to have, should be willing to be accountable.
Okay.
Our people do not, they do not wish to be accountable. Sometimes that I feel is a very negative aspect for an elected representative.
When you mentioned about being swayed by emotions, what do you think caused the people to participate emotionally in elections, contextualizing the people of Ukhrul and Kamjong district?
Okay, I'll give you one specific incident. During the last MP elections, there was the Naga People's Front candidate came to Ukhrul and visited some of the villages on his campaign. And, some of the workers, especially, they were going around campaigning that, this is for a Naga issue, this and that. My village, Talui, during the 70s, I believe, early 70s or late 60s, when there was this heavy recruitment for the Naga national movement, our village, we contributed the majority of the Naga national workers during that particular period.
Okay.
And them coming to a village that understands the gravity of the Naga issue and saying that it is for Naga issue, it is for Naga issue. They try to blanket the issue and make it into, turn it into electoral politics, which is not the case. They should be doing that. Instead, they should be, coming specifically, to campaign, saying that, at this particular juncture, the parliamentarian needs to be a Naga because, we have such issues as, say, for example, delimitation, which needs to be addressed, the strengthening of the, ensuring that the Article 371C needs to be, implemented, in actually on the ground, because I feel that this is one thing that is not asserted enough.
Okay.
So, and the state government, I think, has taken very big advantage of it.
Okay.
So, they should change the way they campaign. It is, they're trying to play with the emotions, and some people get swayed by that. But that should not be the case. That's a very negative way to campaign.
Okay, so you're saying those are just rhetoric campaigning, and it's not going to capitalize at all, or it's not pragmatic at all. It is just to use the
Absolutely.
emotions, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Because, okay, let me, I feel it will not be my place, but I think I should say this also. They came talking about the Naga issue, but what has the incumbent parliamentarian spoken about the Naga issue in parliament? It, that is something that they were campaigning for, and when that person got elected, they did not, speak in the parliament about the Naga issue. You can see, from the data and the statistics given by various media houses, the national media houses, the parliamentarians from the Northeast are among the worst performers.
Right.
They asked the least questions as well. They attended the least sessions. So how can we trust someone? How, do we trust someone to perform when they are, not attending sessions, not asking questions? That is, this should not be the case.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. It's getting more intense. We have gone to the, deeper side of our conversation, which is good. Which is, I think it will give positive vibes to our conversation as well. Now, yes, let's come to the assessment of our 4 candidates. I'd like to get your honest opinions. Yes, individually as well, and also what the people of your districts think about the candidates. Mr. Layolan has mentioned something about being assertive, being vocal for our people. What do you think, Ms. Manini? What do you think of the 4 candidates? I'd like you to give a general assessment of the 4 candidates. One each. Yes, your opinion as well, and also the common opinion of the people of Senapati. What do they think of the 4 candidates which we have at the moment? One is Dr. Alison Abanmai, one is Mr. Kojon, one is Alfred Kanamarta, and lastly but not least, Mr. Kachu Timothy Zimik. Yes, individual-wise and also party-wise, or 2 of them is as an independent, but still then, what is your say on these 4 candidates?
So yeah, we have 4 Naga candidates, and to my opinion, and I'll share with the opinion of my people, that Dr. Alison, so far, people don't know him much.
Okay.
And Timothy Zimik, he's a retired IS. And that also to tell the fact that people don't know him much. But Alfred and, Kojon, they were the most 2 popular contestants, so to say. People have a high chance of trusting these 2, but I have seen, according to my trustful review, to my own review, I've seen that Sir Arthur is one of the person who speaks so much for the Naga people. Even though he get a small stage, he always have the time to talk for the Naga people. So it is, according to my review, he's also another type of ideal candidate for youth people, for youth to work together with him. He has a, mindset who can work together with the youth people, not only youths, with the older generation. And Kojon, he is also one of the leader who works so much for the Naga people. He knows he knows every nook and corners of Nagas, what the Naga station is. He worked in Ansem, he works in Atsum, and then he works as a peace committee even in the conflict. So he knows many much. But to me, that in the conclusion, what I feel is that, and my people feel is that, no matter what position they are standing, maybe some people are not experienced enough in politics, but what they want as an ideal leader is a visionary leader. A visionary leader not only think for today, but tomorrow what will be the status of the Nagas. Naga status is a very crucial state. So we need a visionary leader who can lead us into a right path. And we need an outspoken leader and audacity to speak for himself and feel accountability. Not that of 5 years, but I don't have time to speak in a parliament. That's not that kind of leader that we don't want. We don't want that kind of leader, but we want a leader pressure himself to speak for his people. Because we have been voiceless, and then he being the representative in the parliament, we want him to speak for us with full authenticity. That's what we feel in it. So for us, being a leader among the four of them, I know that my people have choose the leader which wants to be the best leader to be, because we don't want a leader that who don't speak in a parliament, who don't attend the session. We want a leader who can speak for us freely, because being elected doesn't mean that sitting idle or building his own empire, but building empire people. That is what we wanted in it. Yes.
Okay. Great. Just one clarification. You mentioned earlier about the inclusiveness of all the communities to, you mentioned one party, which is the NPF. Do you think that is still the case at the moment, or that is a gone case? I mean, for this upcoming election?
Yeah, I think this coming election, the conflict has changed everything.
Okay.
NPF joining with the BJP, people has a cold-hearted because BJP, their perspective, their ideology is totally different. So people have a cold-blooded against the NPF. That's what I can tell you, friendly.
Okay, but the BJP and NPF has been an alliance. I mean, of Manipur, of the current Manipur government since 2022. Sorry, yes, 1722. They have been partners. So how does it change this time when, as an NDA candidate for the Timothy? I mean, BJP supporting NPF, how has it changed? Because they have been supporting each other in Manipur.
Yeah, that's the fact, yeah. Being, to tell you the fact, Manipur, Senapati is a majority of them were Christian.
Okay.
So majority were Christian, and then the BJP has openly started to, use religious kind of ideology. But I'm so sad that why this continue to alliance with them is one of the things that we question.
Okay.
It is our leader itself who aligns together with them. It's not us. The commoners were not the majority. For 100% of the commoners, only 2-3 people leaders are aligned together with the BJP. But the commoners feel scared that many of the things were happening even within the state in the conflict. And to the conflict, people began to feel that this is how people began to have a cold heart towards them, because if in case NPF and BJP aligns together and won the election, for in case, what will be the status of the Christianity? The religious leaders and the youth were questioning this. That's what we feel about it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. You have been mentioning lots about the communal thing, the conflict thing, ethnic clashes thing. I'd like just last question on this topic. The Congress government they were in power when the NSCN-IM's General Secretary Tuingle Muiwa wanted to visit his birthplace, but it was opposed to the nail, where 2 brave hearts of the Nagas were martyred at Maugate. So they are also given the tag of being a communal party, Congress. Do you think that will affect? Do you think that is something which will give negative impact to the Congress candidate, Mr. Arthur?
Yeah, it was in 2010 when Moiva was trying to visit his birthplace. That is how the incident happened. That's how two Mao guys were killed.
Right.
We've seen in Eid, and that's how the conflict began. Eid.
Right.
But we feel that after that incident, people began to lose hope on the Congress and give the vote to BJP. So we gave the vote to BJP, thinking that the BJP would do something, but they were become a mouthpiece. And then, yeah, in the initial stage of the ruling, they don't use communal card or they don't use religious card. Yeah, they have brought so many, development in the tribal area, but slowly their color and everything changes. That's how people begin to realize
So,
that it will
that's
be
going
in
to
danger.
affect NPF. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Earlier, Mr. Layolan Vashum mentioned about NPF getting majority of the votes. I mean, in his opinion, the NPF might get majority of the votes in Ukhrul and Kamjong district. What of in Senapati? You have a candidate from Senapati. Which party or candidate do you think might get the majority of the votes from Senapati?
Okay. I
As per
cannot
the
tell you
as per the
right.
current situation.
Yeah, as per my rough calculation, hopefully whether I feel that Otter will get some vote because youth people, the young people are eyeing for him as a kind of idol leader. Yeah, Alfred. Yes, I'm sorry. Alfred is a high chance, according to my study, when I study over it. But we have days to go for money and power and UG versus the threat that we have been doing in the past. That the threat, if they use the threat and power, for sure that somebody will win over it. Yes.
Okay, we'll discuss about that in the next episode, which is very interesting. All right, thank you. I'll come back to Mr. Dr. Elijah. We'd like to get your opinion and the opinion of the general public of Chandel, what they feel about the four candidates. Also, yes, let us also discuss about the pros and cons of the parties they are associated with. Please take your time.
I think in brief, we can say that the people of Chandel will think that NPF is the best candidate due to various, behind the scenes, situations and the circumstances. But however, we cannot, like the people cannot say which candidate may be the best. But otherwise, personally, I'll say that none of the four candidates are, in my opinion, good. Because first, see, it's the Congress party. Personally, I don't like the Congress party, though it's a neutral party. But they have ruled India for many decades, and they have a leadership crisis at the center. Independent, I don't have much trust because most independent candidates are almost voiceless at the parliament, and the NPF. The reason why I don't like, though the people may like, but personally, like the reason why I don't like is like they play too much of the Naga card. I mean, like, why do we have to vote for the NPF just because we're Naga? Because of course we vote for you in the name of the Naga, but you never speak a word about the Naga issue at the parliament. We have a conflict last year, but our MP spoke nothing. We have this issue, that issue pertaining to the Nagas. They don't voice out also. They are just going there to mark their attendance or something which I don't know. But also at the current situation, one of the things which I feel is that in Chandel region, the best candidate would be, ideally, would be the candidate who actually share his manifesto to the public. Because usually what we see in the past is that, see, the NPF may talk about this, but they never have a very solid manifesto. The people vote and for the sake of the voting only, but we the younger generations, we expect the manifestos, because through the manifestos only we'll be able to judge the candidates, right? And so since so far none of the candidates have put up a solid manifesto, so personally, yeah, they are not an ideal choice. But speaking from the district, yeah, they'll blindly say it's the NPF.
Okay. So at the moment, you're choosing Nota.
I wouldn't say, yeah, at the moment it's none of the above, but things may change because as soon as like the manifesto thing comes out, we'll see because that's a part of the election, right?
Right. Do you think the
I mean,
candidates
like
and the political
unless
parties they stick to the manifestos they put up before the election? Do you think they stick to it if it's that important to you?
uh, it's true that many of the parties and the candidates never stick to the manifesto, but at the same time, it is also very important to know about what the party or the candidate aspires for or visions for, because we cannot simply vote a candidate blankly without knowing what does he want or what does he not want. Because, like at the end of the day, mm, and any candidate may win, but if he doesn't have a manifesto at the end of the day, we don't know what he's going to see at the parliament. Like, so, like, are we voting for the sake of the voting, or do we want a representation for the sake of representation that the Nagas should have 2 MPs at the Lok Sabha? I mean, like, questions are there, right?
Okay. Okay. So at the moment, in your opinion, the majority of the people of Chandel will vote for NPF. Is that what you're saying?
The majority of the Chandel, yes, will vote for the NPF, but we cannot say again because things, because we cannot determine the minds of the people, right? And also, like the vote, this electoral politics will change till the day or the moment we press the vote. Because the last time in the Manipur this election in Tengnoupal constituency, we all thought that the NPF would win.
Right.
I mean, it was a huge thing, but at the end of the day, it was the BJP who won. So we cannot trust. So just like the candidates who give a lip service, say something, do something. So we, the candidates, also, we make a promise, but at the end of the day, we have to decide, right?
All right. All right. Thank you. It's an interesting update from Chandel. Yeah. And then, yes, we may like it or not, but then let's try to get the candidates better, and then let's not waste our votes on Nota. Hopefully, I think that will change too. All right, let's get an update from Tamenglong. Let us assess the 4 candidates. Yes, your individual opinion as well, and also what of the people of Tamenglong thinks about the 4 candidates, and also of the parties. Kindly give your update on this.
Okay. Out of these 4 candidates which are going to contest, the 2 independent candidates, I think they may not get much support from our district, because as of now they haven't reached out to us, or maybe the campaign has yet to start for them. I know our uncle Hojon, he's our leaders. He was working with UNC earlier, and then people have some sympathy for him. But as we have discussed earlier, the NPF candidate, he have reached out earlier, and then people of these CSOs of the Tamenglong-based CSOs have some endorsed on this our NPF candidate Timothy Zemik. I think the maximum vote might come for NPF.
Okay.
And our own brother, the Zelengrong brothers, Alishan Bonmai, he is our own community.
Right.
But I think his social work and then the connecting with the people is very less as of now. He must be doing in some areas of Tamenglong, maybe from Tamai, or maybe somewhere in the Noni area. But in the Tamenglong headquarters, or the Tafshim subdivision, we hardly see him doing some social work or connecting with the people. And in my personal view, our NPF has been aligned, I mean, endorsed by the BJP and also the NPP. Now, the question is with the people, especially the younger generation, feel that now um, whether the elected NPF candidate will be able to speak in the parliament against the BJP, or will he be able to speak? We have seen in the past that our aligned NPF candidate, the incumbent candidate, Dr. Loho, he wrote in the news that he was not allowed to speak in the
Right.
parliament. If this same thing is going to happen, then what if our vote will be wasted? And then in personal view, I think our brother, the former MLA, Congress candidate Alfred, I think he is the ideal person who can speak out for even for our Naga cause, for the younger generation. He has the guts to even to question the ruling government in the parliament, I mean in the assembly and all. So I think uh, my personal um, my personal ideal the candidate would be like our brother, I mean this former MLA.
Okay.
Apart from
Just
that, you
before
see,
you move on to the next part, when you talk about Mr. Alfred being vocal and speak for the people in assembly, or for, let's say if he gets elected in parliament, it is, some people say it is because that is his role as because he's an MLA of the opposition. That is their role. That is what they said. Okay, and then in case if the India bloc wins the election, and if he's a part of the government, do you think he'll still be able to speak for the people, especially the Nagas? Do you think that will still be the condition, or will that change?
yeah, I see. I have not think of this. India bloc will be ruling in the center,
Right.
because I'm expecting.
And of that, in case,
Yeah,
if the NPF
I'm
gets
coming to that.
elected, and then if
I'm
the
coming.
India bloc forms the government,
Mm.
do you think the NPF candidate will be able to speak on behalf of the, because BJP will not be their partner, I mean they will not be in the government anymore. Do you think the NPF candidate will be able to speak for the people?
I feel so. I think so. If in that case, I think whoever is in opposition has a free to speak.
Right.
But once in the government, I think the authority, the hierarchy has controlled their voice. So that was happened earlier also. But if it's India bloc becomes the government, form the government, I think our former MLA, I think he has the guts to speak out. So I still feel that he can speak. Um, the, and apart from that, our uh, uh, present scenario of India is becoming very dangerous with NDA government, because it is attacked to the minority with especially the Christian minority, or the especially the journalist fraternity, who has been very affected by this present government, and also the Christian NGOs which are getting funding from foreign to work with the minorities. All this FCRAs, all this has been blocked, and the to work in a ground reality, it's become hindrance for the minority, and also especially the lawyer who is supposed to stand for the people who are in troubles. They are being used by this government. So I feel that with the opposition India bloc should give a strong fight in this coming election.
Okay. All right, thank you. It's an interesting update from you, which is, I think, we can discuss it more in depth in the next episode about the parties as well. As of now, yes, I'll come back to Mr. Leolan Vershum about the four candidates. Let us give a proper assessment, yes, candidate-wise, of course, and also what do the people of Ukrul and Kamjong think about the four candidates? I'm sure, yes, the two of the strongest candidates are from the Tangkul community. What, even though they're from these two communities, do you think the people of Ukrul and Kamjong may vote for Ellison and Dr. Ellison and Mr. Kojon as well? Would like to get that update from you.
Yeah, I think amongst the four candidates, I would like to place the two independent candidates on the lower rung because I doubt they will get a significant share of votes from the two districts.
Right.
One reason is because they are not too well known. Maybe Kojon is more well known than Allison, but you know, with the manner that they have been working and they have been campaigning, they they have not had significant presence in Ukhrul and Kamjong. So I would rule them out, not completely, but to a very small extent. As for the two candidates from Ukhrul, from the Tangkul community, I think like I mentioned earlier, since we have three sitting MLAs from the Naga People's Front, I would like to, stress that he will most likely have, slightly, he will have more edge over Alfred. Okay. Because Alfred, he just comes from one constituency out of three in Ukhrul Kamjong district, and he might not have significant impact in many other districts as well. But from the for as of the Tangkul community in Ukhrul and Kamjong, I would place the NPF candidate first and the INC candidate second. But the two independent candidates, I would not like to give them much place. And as for all the four candidates, the people are so into the issues of Naga nationalism and and the likes. And with the current scenario, with the conflict emerging, and various issues that have come out of it, I have personally, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not heard any of the candidates from the outer Lok Sabha, parliamentary constituency talk about the central government's plan to scrap the free movement regime and to fence the border, which is two very crucial issues for the Nagas. This is not about Naga nationalism. I would not like to say that this is about Naga nationalism, but this is about Naga as a community and as a family. If the four candidates are not willing to speak out about these two issues, I will challenge them that they are not going to speak out, even if they get elected, on these two issues. Because, for now, they fear that they're going to disappoint either the Kukis or the Métis.
Right.
Why should they be scared of these two communities? If they are assertive enough to, stress that they're going to work for the people, why not talk to the opposition, say like, why not talk to the Métis and tell them and explain to them why, scrapping the free movement regime and, why the Nagas are against the border fencing. Oh, why not go to the Kukis as well? But, the plain, blatant explanation is this is electoral politics. So we have to keep mum on some issues and, there is a time to speak on issues and this and that. I don't buy that, I don't think most of the youth would buy that either. But these are two very crucial issues, and none of the four candidates have had the guts to speak out on this. To this,
Okay, just one last. We're losing your voice, Mr. Layolan. Can you hear us? Am I audible to you? Okay. Hello. All right. I think his internet connection got lost. All right. Just one answer each from the four of you, just before we wind it up. Miss Manini, who do you think the Meitei community and the Kuki community might vote among the four candidates? Just this, and that to end our conversation, to make it more interesting.
If I could able to read their mind, then I would say obviously that they will vote for that. But I couldn't able to read
Just in
their
your
mind.
opinion.
For my opinion, I would say that they would probably vote for Alfred. That's what I was thinking.
Both the Meiteis and the Kukis will vote for Alfred, according to you.
Meiteis may have a little bit of differences towards him.
Okay.
Or yeah, so Meiteis will vote for him. And then I cannot say about that because politics
All
is
right.
a very hard
Yes,
time.
yes, it can change, subject to change, but then yeah, just blunt opinion. All right, thank you. What about Dr. Elijah? What's your opinion on this?
Guns. I mean, it's
Just
difficult
plain and
to
brief.
answer, but
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, the Meiteis may vote for Alfred because he's a Congress.
All right.
Because why should they vote for an NPF, the party which the Meiteis actually think don't like?
Okay, but the BJP, which they like, is supporting NPF.
Sorry.
But the BJP, whom they supported, are supporting NPF.
Yes, but also we have to see that the voters means the outer Sidco voters in the valley also somehow they belong to the stronghold of the Congress, right?
Okay.
Because we have this Kakching, Thobal, this Kangabok and the Wangjing area where the Congress is also was a bit strong in the past, and also still now like the incumbent this MLA of Thobal or Ibu Bisinghi is a Congress, so they may vote for the Congress. But
What about the
I can't say
cookies?
about the cookies also.
You can't say.
So the cookies
They're
also,
unpredictable?
I can't say because they don't send a candidate, and why should they vote for the NPF? But I believe at the moment the only option they have is to. I mean, they may have. I'm sorry to even think for them also, but they may vote for the NPF.
Yeah.
But that's all I
Okay,
can say.
all right. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I'm just getting a plain opinion from you. What about Mr. Ringbai? What do you think? I mean, who do you think the people, Meitei and the Kuki, will vote amongst the four candidates? Just plain and brief.
I think Meitei votes, the higher vote will go to Congress, but it will be like margin slightly more to Congress, and also to NPF. Will get some vote from like as they are aligned with NPP and BJP. You'll get some votes from Kapching and Taobal, or also some from Jiribam as well. For Kuki, I think that the maximum vote may go to Congress. That's what I feel, because the Congress INC leaders from Delhi, they visited the district Kangkupi and then Churachampur and hear out their grievances and all. So they might have some feeling for them. So I think Congress, the Kuki vote, the maximum may go to the Congress.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Lastly, but not the least, Mr. Layolan, who do you think the Meiteis and Kukis will vote amongst the four candidates?
okay. As for the Meiteis, they have 8 assembly constituencies, of which 4 are with the Congress, if I'm not wrong, and there are 3 from the BJP, 1 from the NPP, if I'm not wrong. So we have 4 from the ruling alliance and 4 from the opposition. So, and we cannot dismiss the fact that this was one of the strongholds of the Congress, when they were the ruling party in the state. So my assumption would be that the Congress and the NPF would get equal share of votes, with maybe about 20% going to the 2 independent candidates. I think the ruling coalition might have a slight edge, a very tiny edge, but which is it's very unpredictable. Then, as for the cookies, in my opinion, I think maybe about like 40% of the votes could go to the Congress candidate, maybe another, around 30% to the NPF, because I think some sections of the Cookie, Zo, Mark groups are, sympathetic, and they have, quite a bit of an affinity to the Naga community as well. So I think it might fall second. And then the 2 independent candidates, I would like to dismiss, both of them on that end. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for your valuable time, your valuable insights. You have given us so much of information which is valuable to us. And I'm sure all the viewers who views this episode will be enlightened by the knowledge you have shared. Yes, it's been there has been a bit of disturbances because of the internet connectivity, yes, which should not have happened. Because at this stage of our lives, I think this should not be a problem for us at all. But then this is the reality we are facing, and then the youth should voice out, and then we should be an accountable person. We should be politically conscious. We should have that political awareness, and I'm sure this time, all these kind of issues we are facing, this will be one of the main reasons, one of the main objectives for us to push for a better candidate amongst the 4. Thank you all so much once again. I hope to see you in the days to come, in the episodes to come as well. Thank you all so much once again. Have a great night. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for joining us in this special episode. It's been an enlightening one. We have got to know the ins and outs, the current scenario of what's happening in the 4 districts and more. And it is important that we are politically aware, politically conscious of what's happening, because there's a famous saying, you may not be interested in politics, but politics takes an interest in you. Let us be aware of what's happening around us. Let us be aware of the political parties. Let us be aware of the candidates. Let us be aware of the political issues we are facing. And the most important thing is the freedom we exercise once in every 5 years, the universal adult franchise, which you and I have. That's the power which everyone of us have equally. Let us exercise this with pride and honor and vote for the person who represents us the best. Thank you all so much once again. See you in the next episode.